have you seen? There was like an over the garden wall, sort of. I don't know what it was. It was like 10 years anniversary or something like that. And Aardman, the same guys that do Wallace and Gromit, were brought in. They did like what looked like wooden characters like this, all made up for stop motion stuff with moving arms and limbs and stuff. And I reached out to one of the guys that worked on the project on the show, and he was like, "Oh, it's not wood." I was like, "What do you mean it's not wood? It looks like it's perfectly carved." I mean, you'll have to check it out. I'll send you the link after this. But like,
Yeah, I'll have to.
it looks like it's made from wood, and it's not. It's made from like polymer clay that they've then sliced off as if it was wood.
Interesting.
So I sort of said to him, I was like, "So how do you put these characters together? Because quite clearly, like, you don't have a normal like armature framework thing that you'd have in like something like Wallace and Gromit." Um, and he was like, "Oh, you just use bits of like aluminium or wire or whatever in the joints. You just make a hole, stick it on the side, stick it the other side, and then you have a moving joint." And I was like,
Wow,
it's, really,
very
it's,
simple.
it's really that simple." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
Gave it a go, and yeah, it worked out quite well. I think the first one I did, surprise, surprise, was a Wallace and Gromit one, which I think is quite terrifying. It
Yeah.
smells a little bit too intense, but
Yeah.
yes, he's a bit wobbly. But yeah, that sort of seemed to work, and I went down that route for a while, making my characters sort of move and things. And the idea was to sort of put together like little animations and little stop motions with the characters. But I think I moved away from it because it was, I don't know why, but like making something out of one piece of wood seems way easier than making loads of little things and sticking it together.
Yeah.
So I've sort of moved away
Yeah,
from it.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I mean, I might do it again in the future. Who knows? But yeah, that's my little experiment.
That's very cool. One thing I like, you kind of mentioned how they used polymer clay to make it look like wood. A lot of your carvings that are the Wallace and Gromit style, you make them out of wood, but they look like clay with how you execute them. So
Yeah.
it's fascinating how well like you're able to do that, and your painting skills, I mean, are off the charts as well because you just managed to capture that
Yeah.
clay-like
So
feature to them.
I've always had a bit of a weird relationship with painting characters. Like I feel like you spend such a long time carving them, hours and hours and hours. It's just sometimes a shame to like paint over it. But I've never known how to water down colors or use oil paints or anything like that. I've literally just got some acrylic paint and just slapped it over the top, and it's worked. So yeah, I mean, I think the last one I painted was this one, which is just like a little alien guy. And I've added some little glass eyes too. Um, but it's for me one of the biggest things is that I struggled with was like making eyes. Like I just couldn't do it. And I've tried so many different variations. Dan Hero, who I was on about earlier, uses like a UV setting like nail polish. It's like a black. No, sorry, it's not. It's just like a clear, almost resin. He'd carve a little hole, paint it black, put a dollop of this resin in, and then let it set for a bit, and put UV light over the top, and it made like a perfect ball shape, and it just mimicked whatever color was underneath. Sorry, and it just mimicked whatever color was underneath. Um, and then I was like, "There's got to be an easier way than this, surely." So now I use, I think they're called like craft eyes, which I would highly recommend everyone to get. But you get like a little bag of these tiny glass black balls on the end of like a pin, and then all you have
Yeah.
to do is just drill a hole, stick it in, and you've got an eye. It's
Oh,
like
that's
the
pretty cool.
simplest way to make an eye, right? And it saves you
Yeah.
hours of faffing about with UV glue and stuff. uh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
there's
eyes
also
are incredibly difficult to achieve.
so difficult. Yeah. And one of the more recent things I've done, going back to this guy, is I think they're called like cobertrons or cobertron. I don't know, cobertrons or something like that. And they're just basically like a half glass ball. And again, you just carve out the area you want, paint your iris and pupil, and then just stick one of those on top, and you've got a perfect eye.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, if it can
Little,
make it easier to make, why not?
yeah, exactly. Because there's nothing worse than getting frustrated with making a tiny little detail like that, and then you finish it, and they're like cross-eyed, and they just look a bit mad.